The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, good internet gravy. Has it really been that long? That's right, fellow film addicts, the little pod that could turns two, as we look back on the season that was, from our favourite episodes and gags to great collabs and everything in between. I'm Riggs.
And I'm here too.
Fucking baby blood axe. And welcome to Season 3 of the Film Addicts podcast.
Fuck yeah!
Another one. Fucking DJ Khaled in the hizzy. Oh, welcome. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast, Season 3. We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much for listening in. This is a recap episode of all the things that were wonderful in Season 2. We're going to drop some clips in, much like we did last year. But before we get to all that, Addy, happy anniversary, mate.
Happy anniversary to you too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We've had such a what a love affair this has been, and it just to have the opportunity to look back. And I was just scrolling through the episodes then, and we did one on Watchmen this season.
Yeah,
I fucking forgot that shit. And Watchmen rules. It's and I watched the 3-hour long version of it for it and everything. So, but anyway, we'll get to them. How are you? What's going on there? Looking, your headphones match your shirt.
Thank you. You're the only person who likes these headphones, by the way. Every time I get on a call with somebody, they say, "Your ears are bleeding."
Just say to them, "Your face is ugly." So win-win. Fuck them. It's fine. They're good. They're bright red headphones. How can you not like them? So what's been happening?
Nothing much. I'm just really excited for this. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm excited too. I've been taking it easy. Just writing, actually. Working on screenplays and things like that. I have been sort of back, off production work. I finished a big project that I'm editing at the moment, but other than that, it's all just kind of, it's a bit mellow, which is nice. And it's starting to get cold here again in Melbs. So I've got the fire going at night time and just watching some good movies and hugging my cats when they're all fucking cum drunk in front of the fire. They're all fucking lying in these weird positions that cats shouldn't be in, and they end up elongating, which is really weird. Cats are much longer than you think they are when they're lying down. You think they're just these little cute little cats, and then they lie down, they're like, "Fuck me, you look like a goddamn goanna." Goanna's a big lizard. All of the international people who you don't know if that is, it's a big Australian lizard. So it's been good, but what should we do today? We're not going to do any nerd news, because not only did I not source any, I just felt like for an anniversary episode, it'd be better to just, talk through what we've been doing and then get into the anniversary part of it. But should we do it?
Yeah, let's do what are we watching?
Okay, wonderful. What are we
watching?
All right, I haven't made a list. I mean, I have a list, and I'll go back to it. But you will need to go first while I look up my list.
I have watched so much shit.
Why was it shit?
No, it was so much that it just, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just watched a lot of things.
It was too much.
Yeah, I watched the entirety of the X-Men movies. Again.
Top to bottom?
Yeah. All of them.
Nice.
I wanted to do a ranking thing. And I realized that I can't unless we first talk about X2 and Logan.
Yeah, well, I mean, we will. That's sort of after the next bonus episode, which is the Jaws watch along, everybody. The Jaws commentary track that we're going to do. We're going to record that today. After that, I think we'll do X2 and then Logan. Logan. We're going to do Logan, which is a different movie altogether. It's about a person who buys antique furniture. I don't know why. We'll probably do those next because I think it's a high time I revisit it anyway. So, but where do you start? Do you start at 1, X2, Last Stand, and then go back to First Stand? Or do you, like, what order do you watch them in? Because they're all over the place, really.
Yeah, but I just watch a release order.
Because continuity-wise, it gets all murky in the second...
It does.
In the second, not reboot, but the one where
prequel.
everybody's young. Yeah. The prequels, it's like once Days of Future Past happens, everything's kerfuffled. And then Logan's kind of the end of it.
It should have been the case, but I like that we ended with New Mutants, because going back, like, we've talked about this, and you know that I like New Mutants a lot. But New Mutants goes up like immensely, just like with just like if you have the baggage of watching all 13 of them like in a row, New Mutants goes up like a whole lot.
Yeah. I feel like that movie suffered in that it just languished for so long and people didn't get it. And if you're not a fan of the X catalog of stuff, that's a kind of a deep... It'd be like making an X-Man movie. You know X-Man, who's like fucking clone of somebody. It's like Cable's second cousin twice removed or whatever the hell it is, and he's you know got... It's Nathan Summers from an alternate reality. Hey, Paul.
Oh, okay.
And it's, he's got just ridiculous powers and all this stuff. And they had a long series with him in. I don't know where he is now, but they had a really long series with him in it in the 90s. But like, you can't explain that. It's like, that's deep bench. You have to know who it is first. Yeah. So okay, you watched him in order. What, like, you watched all of them? Does it include Deadpool and shit?
No, I skipped the Deadpool movies because I liked the first one. I started the second one and I realized I couldn't stand it. Like,
interesting.
It was too flashy and like too in my face. At least when I was watching it. So like,
I like Brolin in it. I think Brolin as Cable is great.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Cable, I've been watching X-Men 97 and I can't talk about it because you haven't watched it.
No, well, I'm waiting. I'm still getting my way through the old ones, but I also got distracted by Mad Men rewatch, which I'll get to. But I'll have to watch it because Juan and Kike said that they want to have us on End of the Line to talk about it when it's finished. And what is it, couple of weeks away? I'll have to get on top of it.
We have 3 more episodes to go before the season ends.
Right. All right. Well, when that happens, I'll binge the shart out of it, and then we can talk about it properly. So all the X-Men pictures. What else have you been watching?
I rewatched the entirety of 11 seasons of One Family.
Holy shit! You were doing that when we were talking when we did the Dune episode. Yeah. So you've ended now. Have you finished all that?
Oh, I've ended it.
How do you feel?
I feel complete, satisfied, and that I wanted to do it again.
Like a good handy. Yep, great. Welcome to season 3, everyone. Pushing the envelope once again, just straight into hand job jokes. Literally been recording for 10 minutes and we're already at hand jobs. I've never seen that show. The format bugs me. Like, I can't, that format outside of the British version of The Office it feels, I don't know, derivative, but if you dig it, you dig it. I
can understand that. I think it works well in The Office until Michael Scott is there. And it, like, that's true for most of the show, because then, like, you struggle with making side characters and, D-list characters into main characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Modern Family is what it is from from the get-go. Like, it shows up with the standard and it keeps it consistent for 11 fucking seasons.
Yeah. That's impressive to have longevity like that. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, and last night I completed my rewatch of season 1 of Superman and Lois.
Right. Actually, that's just the last season of that's wrapped. I just saw.
Yeah.
There's a little nerd news for everyone. And Doomsday's in it.
That's season 3. Like,
okay. Do they
end of season 3.
Kill an homie or?
That's we don't know, because it like when season 3 ended, we didn't know if we were gonna get a season 4, and it ended with Doomsday and Superman fighting on the moon.
Oh, come on! I gotta get back into this now. Fuck! Are you kidding me?
Like, the last shot of season 3 is both of them just flying towards each other with Earth in the background.
I missed out. I gotta go back. Leanne talked about it too.
Yeah,
when we did our
I
episode. She digs it the most.
I miss Superman on the television, or like Superman in general, because we live in a shitty world.
Because there's no Superman, or also?
Also, and because.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's just I love that show, and Tyler Hoechlin is Superman in every way. When you watch that show, you don't want him to fight Doomsday or fight Lex Luthor. You want to see Clark Kent have fun with his
Rub
family.
one out. Sorry, hand jobs again. Can you imagine that if the season premiere was just Superman masturbating like Homelander? Different show.
That'll be a statement. That'll be a statement. That's the DCU version, all right? Like that's it.
That's the beginning of like the cold open of James Gunn's movie. It's just still fucking beating off on the moon. Anyway, sorry, I distracted what you were saying. Again.
But yeah, like the chemistry of the cast is amazing. There's a scene in season 1 where he has twins in this show because this came out after Crisis, so it was a retcon yet also a reboot. Yeah. Because you can reference Crisis, but also not, because Crisis happened and everybody forgot. But yeah, like the sons are just sitting on the dinner table and they ask Clark, "What's the weirdest or what's the strangest thing you've ever overheard?" And Lois is like, "No," and Chuck is like, "Maybe when you're older."
Bum stuff. Everyone in Metropolis is doing bum stuff. You have no idea how much bum stuff's going on. It is outrageous.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That's very cool. Was there anything else like that stood out in rewatchings?
I watched The Lion King last night and I cried like a baby. That's it.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah, that's almost a perfect picture. It is a perfect picture. That's funny that you watched The Lion King and I watched Atlantis.
Yeah.
The Lost Empire, which fucking slaps.
What have you been watching?
Yeah, well, I watched Atlantis last night. Also, anybody who follows me on Letterboxd, I don't know who follows me. I don't really pay attention to it in that respect. I've stopped giving star ratings. I just don't think it's fair. I feel like the way I feel about movies is too broad. Like there's too many variables to give like a star out of 5 rating. So I just put a heart if I like it and no heart if I don't like it. So there. Like some big statement, but I just feel wrong. Like I'm giving Jaws like 5 stars because it's the best movie of all time, and then I watch something else that's like whatever, Ex Machina, which I rewatched, the Alex Garland picture, which is fantastic. Gave that like 4 stars, but is it really that close to as good as Jaws? No, but by 1 star, you know what I mean? Like the variables is too grand, and also what genre it is, and anyway, so I've stopped doing that. But speaking of Alex Garland. I went to the cinema and saw Civil War. I dig it, man. I really dig it. I think it's really misunderstood. I think people are saying that it's its neutrality is like chicken shit, and it's not taking a side, or it's not explaining why the conflict is the conflict. And it's basically because the president instituted martial law and gave himself a 3rd term, which is illegal. And I think that's kind of what it is. But you've got to look at it from the perspective of the story's about journalists. And journalists, by their very nature, need to be neutral because they just have to report the truth. And the whole movie, I remember I was talking to Tommy about it, and he mentioned it him and DL were talking about it because I did an episode on Podcast Assemble and I was listening to it, and they said exactly what I thought. It's that scene where Kirsten Dunst is sitting there and she says, I was going overseas and I was a war photographer and I was sending these pictures back and I thought it was as a warning to we should never do this. And look, here we are anyway. I think it's really great. I think it's totally misunderstood. I think Americans are misunderstanding it a lot because it's targeting them, and it's a British person targeting them. And it's sort of saying that there is a, like the information is not available for people to kind of disseminate and have an actual opinion about stuff, which is not what it is. It's Alex Garland saying, you're in the fog of war here and nobody knows what anybody's doing. It's like when they see the 2 snipers on the road and it's like, who is it? Who's trying to kill you? And the 2 guys who are the two army guys who were there trying to take out this sniper, like, he's trying to kill us and we're trying to kill him, and that's it. The bottom line kind of shit. Yeah, I think it was really great. I think everybody should go and see it. This one you're not going to be happy about. I watched Argyle.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
Fuck. Oh, man. That movie is fucking obnoxious. You know what I'm like? I'm super positive, and I'll give anything a shot. I found it absolutely insufferable. It was like a movie that had been written by AI. Like, it was just... And it was so... Everything was so poorly constructed, and it was all over the place, and it just... Nah. Not for Reeg, sorry. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I went on a horror rant with it.
If you, that's fine. Like, enjoy it. Like, it's okay to like a movie, as Eric Siska from the We Hate Movies podcast would say. And that's, if you liked it, that's great. Do you think it has anything to do with Henry Cavill being in it with his big hair?
No shit.
I need a little bit more than that. Yeah, I just thought it was rough.
Yeah, I get that. I actually do. Like, the third act is where you're like, okay, what? Like, why?
And I don't really like Matthew Vaughn's style. Like, I mean, First Class is pretty great. Kingsman, the first ones, I enjoyed The King's Man, which was like the third one of those. Kingsman 1 is okay. It ends with an anal sex joke, which is pretty hysterical. But it's just, I find his work cynical and detached. I fucking can't stand Kick-Ass. Like, I think that movie is, like, I don't have a problem with violence in movies and all that kind of stuff, but it is intentionally provocative. Like, it's doing it on purpose, which is all of Mark Miller's writing, honestly. Like, that guy he just wants to push buttons. The sequel to Kick-Ass has a fucking, like, in the comic book, they didn't do it in the movie. In the comic book, there's a rape scene, and it's like, why do you need that? Like, there's no narrative reason for you to do that. Like, the guy's evil enough. But anyway, regardless, Argyle wasn't for me.
I get that. Was this how Rock was throwing the cat out of nowhere?
It was, fuck you, throwing a cat off a building, points off. You do it to me. You better jump after it, because I'm coming for you, motherfucker. Like, you'll be next. That's for sure. Just some other things I watched from Dusk Till Dawn. My sister-in-law hadn't seen it, and we watched that. And she says what a lot of people says, it's great until the vampires show up. I disagree. I think that movie's perfect. It's also the movie that made me want to be a filmmaker. I saw some behind-the-scenes stuff. There's a full-length... Oh, thank you very much. There's a full-length documentary about it called Full Tilt Boogie. And I saw Robert Rodriguez sitting on dolly track being pushed by a grip with his hand over his eye, like in a circle, simulating a lens. And he had a guitar around his neck as well. And I was just like, I want to be that guy. Like, who's that dude? And that was it. I'm fucking 16, 17 years old. And that's been my whole life. So yeah, I love that movie. Went to the Astor and saw the 30th anniversary screening of Interview the Vampire, which fucking slaps. That movie is outstanding. And yeah, I love it. What else did I see? Boys in the Boat. Now, the George Clooney picture about the US Olympic rowing team is really fucking good. Like, it got kind of relegated to streaming. It did a small theatrical run, but really, really good. Like, a sports movie I've never seen before. And I was on the edge of my seat towards the end of it. So yeah, would 100% recommend that. It's on Amazon Prime. Like, just, yeah, treat yourself. It's quite a good one. When they go to the German Olympics, or the Germany Olympics in 38 or whatever it was. Fucking tense. Rebel Moon Part 2. This guy giver. That movie is a bug's life. It is fucking a bug's life. And I cannot abide. It's just boring. Like, there's nothing. You know what? It's not boring. It looks spectacular. And there's lots to be had, lots of fun to be had, but I'm not connected to anybody in it. None of the characters, like, interest me. And now all of a sudden they're saying there's like 14 more of them coming. And I'm like, bullshit. No way. You'll see my fucking dick on the internet before you see 4 more fucking Rebel Moon pictures. Nonsense. I also watched last night, after Alex left, I've been listening to this great podcast called The Writers Panel. It's been going since like 2011. Ben Blacker is the host. He's a writer. He's worked on Supernatural and stuff. And he just interviews writers, and one of the writers he interviewed was the guy who wrote the remake of Old Boy that Spike Lee directed. I'm like, I haven't peeped that in ages. So I watched it. It's not like great. It's a good enough film. People, it's hard to remake that movie because it's so fucking good, the original Korean film. But Josh Brolin is fucking outstanding in it. Like, his performance is like, I would struggle to find a time when he's been better outside of No Country for Old Men, honestly. Just really great. Elizabeth Olsen's amazing in it too. Really, really cool. And I think it's another one of those that's kind of a little bit misunderstood. And finally, my sister-in-law was like, I need something to watch. We're boxing. She's like, I need a new show. And I'm like, fucking watch Mad Men. It's the best show ever. Like, it's my favorite TV show ever. She's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, just give it a second. Like, understand that it's aping the period, and the gender politics that are going on there is they're supposed to be talking about it, and it's supposed to be the way that it is. But trust me, all the women in that show are gangsters, and all the men are fucking fools, and it totally makes sense when you watch it a bit. And she's like, comes back to me a week later. She's like, fucking 2 seasons in, I love it. I can't stop watching it. So it prompted me to start a rewatch from the end of season 2, because that's kind of where I was up to last time, and it really is a perfect show. Like, it's got everything you want. You care about these characters. Time period's really interesting. Like, I just watched the episode where JFK gets assassinated. The changing from sort of 1963, 1964 to 1965, because you have the counterculture movement coming. You've got hippies. You've got people who are openly gay, and you've got drug culture, and the music changes, and it's just like all these old guys getting left behind while the world becomes what it ended up becoming in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's just so fucking well written. And if you need an example, go online and go on YouTube and just type in Don and Peggy fight season 4 of Mad Men. There's a scene where they have an argument in the offices late one night where she gets mad at him for taking an idea of hers and and he won an award for it. It's just one of the best pieces of cinema, cinema, but one of the best pieces of TV you'll ever watch. So, yeah, Mad Men.
So it's like Malcolm and Marie, but in an episode format.
No, it's much better than that. It's much better than that shit. I've reassessed that after you talked about it. I was like, you know what? You're probably right. I'm also tiring of that writer. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's good that you don't, because we should.
Yeah, the like Euphoria was amazing, but that's performance based. It's the performances that really strike me in that, especially Sydney Sweeney, like where she loses her fucking mind in season 2. Really, really strong. But I feel like, yeah, he's starting to lean into the sort of who's the guy who directed Ken Park and Kids? Larry Clark. It's getting a little pedophile going on. But anyway, whatever. Mad Men, much better show. There's no kids in it at all. It's great. Here we go.
I wanted to mention one more thing.
No. Fucking, what do you think? This is your show?
Yeah, man.
My show. No, it's this is the breakup episode. Go ahead.
And then Jaws is the makeup one where we meet in the ocean and want Jaws to get them.
And internet fuck. Are you kidding me? That'd be amazing. What were you going to say? Sorry.
So you mentioned Mark Miller, and that reminded me. I watched a documentary called Fuck My Hole.
I'm so glad that's taking on. That is my favorite thing to say when something goes awry, and it really takes people by surprise. Fuck my hole, and they're like, "Excuse me?" You heard it.
It's like, it's not an invitation, but if you want to, why the fuck not?
Yeah, exactly. It's more like, oh god, I would rather be fucked in the hole than have whatever's happening to me happen now. Like, oh no, I've dropped all of these plums that I've bought, and 2 of them are squished. One of them rolled under the car. Fuck my hole, I was thinking today, mate, sorry, I just need to jump in real quickly. I'm thinking about all the episodes we've done in this show, like 45 episodes plus, because we've done some bonus ones or whatever. So let's say 50 episodes, over the last couple of years.
We're at actual 50 episodes.
This is 50, is it?
No, Dune is 50.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, like, canonically, this is 45, but whatever. we talk about stuff and there's segments and everything, but I never prepare anything. I don't make notes or nothing. And I was thinking, I was driving and I was like, what am I going to talk about? And we always figure it out. I fucking love that. There is no formula here, friends. Like we have segments that we go through, but I don't write anything down, unless there's something specific I want to talk about. But when we get into things, it's just like stream of consciousness. It's so pure. I love it. It's just like, it's like writing, like it's pure creation moment to moment. And it's so rare to have that and have it be like there's a nowness and a oneness to that. Like we're both right here, right now, and we wouldn't be anywhere else. And I just dig that. Anyway, enough of that. What was the thing you wanted to talk about?
Right. See, you mentioned Mark Miller.
Mark Miller, yeah.
And that reminded me, I watched a documentary called Chris Claremont's X-Men.
Yeah, right.
It's a beautiful documentary going from the inception of X-Men to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby leaving to Chris Claremont taking in and then creating the team that then goes on to create these amazing stories, and how like the transition from Claremont to the Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld era really broke him, because they like it's so weird to say, because like in the interviews of him, he loves talking about these characters, but you also can feel like how he was mistreated by Marvel, because all of a sudden without him consulting, they had Jean back, and then these storylines that he felt so connected to and built most of were just taking off by these writers, and he had no control over what the story that he was selling, and then eventually he had to leave.
That's funny, because I was listening to the Writers Panel podcast. They talk to comic writers as well, like Ed Brubaker, and they had on what's his name? Not Larry Hama, the other guy who created Wolverine. Name escapes me, but they were talking about that period of time and how Liefeld was such a superstar artist for some fucking reason. Like he's a terrible artist, but he's not terrible. It's a bit weird. It would be like looking over your shoulder while you're writing scripts and stuff. Like it was really, the corporate takeover of comic books happened in the 90s, and Image is, now a very different company, but that's what that was. Grant Morrison talks about it, how it was like, they would make more off the original artwork than they would off the page count, and they say they would just invent new superheroes every other page to in order to sell the things. These guys had fucking Learjets and shit, Yeah, it would have been a weird time for someone like Claremont who came along at the really pure time. And like, I mean, Stan and Jack are definitely the godfathers of the X-Men, but like, no, Stan and Jack knocked up the X-Men, but Claremont raised the kid,
100%.
Yeah.
And like the stories we know and like the version of these characters that we love, it's all because of Claremont.
Mm.
And like the documentary ends by, I can't remember the name, but someone saying that nobody knows who Chris Claremont is, but everybody knows who the X-Men are.
Yeah.
And that one hits so hard.
It's so true, because there's a lot of like unsung comic book people who you like, especially now considering how popular shit is. And I remember Ed Brubaker again was talking about, he created the Winter Soldier. Like they were like, hey, what do you want to do? He was doing stuff at Image, and Joe Quesada was like, what do you want to do at Marvel? And he's like, I fucking love Captain America, and if I do it, I've got one thing I want to do, but you'll never let me. And Quesada was like, what? And he's like, I want to bring Bucky back. And they were like, okay, how do you mean it? Like, what are you talking about? And he was talking about how canonically the death of Bucky is a retcon, because the book got cancelled and then Stan wanted to bring it back modern day. So they just wrote in the fact that Bucky died, but you don't actually, there's no specific comic book issue where it tells that story. And he's like, so he was fucking turned into the Winter Soldier. And then Brubaker went on to write 6 years worth of great Cap stories with Bucky. And when they made the show, and when they put Bucky in Winter Soldier and all that stuff, and Captain America, Winter Soldier, the film, and Civil War and all that stuff, he was like, I didn't get a fucking phone call. I didn't get a check, like nothing. Like Marvel owns that shit, and that should be. I know they're getting better at it now, like all companies are, but there really should be some. These guys should be household names. They're building, the modern narrative in a way that a lot of people aren't. And Claremont's you cannot make X-Men without Claremont in there, like that DNA. Like it's impossible.
Yeah, like the first X-Men movie was possible because Claremont was part of the writing team.
Cool. Yeah, I looked for that after you put it up on Letterboxd, and I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, you can't find it. I can send it to you, but you can't find it.
Can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? I'm just doing it quietly. I'm not being Disney Plus. I'm being quiet about, can you send me your pirated movies? That's one of my favorite gags I ever did.
Yeah.
You wouldn't steal a car. Like, that was, again, unplanned, just came out of my face. Cool. All right. Was there anything else? Just came out of my face. Come on, grow up. Season 3, all right? Our listeners deserve better than that. Okay. Let's just run through, like, the episodes that we did and just rap about them a little bit. And then we'll go to, like, have you written down, like, favorite gags or favorite episodes or anything like that, or?
I don't think so.
That's okay. We'll go through and we can talk about the ones that I've done. Firstly, I just want to say the thing about this season the big takeaway for me is fish and chips. That's the biggest takeaway. Sorry.
When was that?
That's a good joke. The biggest takeaway is fish and chips.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, like takeaway food. Idiot. The biggest takeaway, the biggest highlight of this season is not only continuing to build our friendship and our connection that we have and becoming, quite good at this. Like we're, regardless of whatever our popularity is, like I feel like we're pretty good podcasters at this point. I don't know. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts and I think we have a great rapport and, I know the audio's a bit clunky sometimes and we're not, fantastic technicians and we don't have the best gear in the world, but I feel like our personalities are here and it's truthful, which is more important to me than anything. But I think on top of that, working with other people in the podcasting community has been really, really great. Specifically, for me anyway, the End of the Line boys, Juan and Kike, like they're so committed to being nerds. I fucking love it. They're always in touch with us. They're always interested. They're always listening to the show. And when we've had them on the show, like when mine came on, and we did Guardians 3, like it just elevates. You start feeling like you're part of this community that, like, there's no grand agenda. There's no reason why we do this other than we like talking shit with each other, and that's a beautiful thing. I've had the opportunity to be on the Sequel Suck podcast as well a few times. I did the Halloween episode, and we did Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and those guys are great. They're local too. They're like just here. That show doesn't get produced as often anymore. But the next one we're going to do is Batman Returns, and just to get to know those guys, and also Michelle, who's on that show, is a dear friend of mine. She's like we've built a great friendship, and it's purely because I'm a podcaster. Like that's how we met, and we now catch up. And I went to her birthday party, and we went bowling, and she's into cosplay, and she sent me some photos, and my photographer from the studio is going to help her with some stuff. Like we have a really good friendship that was completely born out of podcasting, and that's the same with you. Finding, like for me, this is Leanne. Like I only know her through podcasting. And yet, being her friend, internet friend, or whatever you want to call it, has enriched my life. Like the episodes that she's been on have been different. Like she just brings a different vibe to the whole thing. And she's such like these pure spirits who just want to talk about shit that they love. And there's no, I mean, maybe people want followers or whatever, or money. I don't know, but you wouldn't do it if you didn't get some juice out of it. Like otherwise, what's the fucking point? We're not selling anything. And in particular, working with DL and Tommy and Podcast Assemble, only because I've been on there like half a dozen times at this point. Like I'm a guest resident, a resi guest But me and Tommy talk all the time, and we have such a weird simpatico, and we clicked like the way that me and you clicked in terms of our podcasting back and forth. There's no like there's no beats that are missed. You know, you just kind of snap together, and it's like we Voltroned. You know, we became a fucking Megazord almost from the jump. And yeah, I love those guys, and they're so committed to what they do. They've just had a really great rebrand. Actually, their new artwork is fucking the tits. So much so that I've gone, hey, I've got some graphic artist friends. We need a rebrand too. So yeah, just want to say thank you so much to Tommy and DL from Podcast Assemble. All the Sequel Suck people. You know, there's a few of them who rotate in and out, but you know who you are. Juan and Kike and Leanne for just, you know, being our little conclave of podcasting pals. It's really, that's where the juice is for me, like being involved with beautiful people and talking about fun shit. So I just want to say thanks from the jump.
Oh yeah, man. I feel the same way. Like me and Kike have been talking constantly about X-Men 97 and the shit that's been going on.
No doubt, yeah.
And it's really nice to have this group of people that you can just fucking nerd out with. And it's like, oh, they were supportive, all of them are nice people.
It's a safe space. It's always a safe space. And also, like, I'm not sure about the Sequel Suck guys, but I know, like, the End of the Line guys and Podcast Assemble guys have both said that our show has made their show better. Like, they have taken cues from what we do, and we're just doing it intuitively. Like, there's no... And it's just because we have a good rapport, me and you, that it works. But they're like... You know, like Tommy called us podcasting royalty on the Dune show. Like, and I don't think of it like that, but it's so nice to have peers be like, "You're doing a great job," and we want to rise to the occasion, and they do. They're like, their shows get better and better every episode they do. It's better and better, both of them. So, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Really, really nice to be here, and I think we accomplished our goal of season 2, which is to be more weird and more crazy.
Yeah, and to do different shit and to try other stuff. Like we did, we'll just go through. So yeah, we did a Watchmen episode, which was episode 30, which was really great. Before that, we did the season 3 kind of. We did a premiere episode, you know, which is a recap like this one, but on Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was just.
So it's been a year.
That's one of those movies where it was like, hey, do you want to go and see it? And I was like, not really. He's like, well, I want to do an episode on it. I'm like, okay, I'll go. It was like when Tommy was like, do you want to do Madam Web? I'm like, I will for you, buddy. I don't want to see that movie at all, but I will go and do it for you. Yeah, you know, like what a good way to kick it off. And then, yeah, episode 31 was Awesome Podcast Mixtape Volume 3, where we did have my main man, Juan, come on. And he's just such a diehard Marvel nerd. I love it.
He knows the stuff that I think that I know, but I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'll catch it. He's like, you're bluffing. You don't fucking know it.
He also thinks that I'm hysterical, which I fucking love, because not in an egotistical way. I just like making people laugh. And the amount of times that he's been like, "You've had me doubled over, man," in you know, from cacking myself, and then to have him come on the show, like, it's beautiful. I mean, we should go back on their show, actually. We need to talk to them about that. We were going to do... I know that we're going to do X-Men, but there's something else we should do. We should do a commentary, all 4 of us, actually, on something cool. Like the OG Avengers or whatever.
Yeah. Or we could do, like the Fan 4-Stick movie.
What? Sorry? The what?
The Fan 4-Stick movie?
The Fan 4-Stick? What's that?
The Fantastic Four movie with Michael B. Jordan and the guy from Whiplash.
Yeah, the particularly bad one. Yeah, honestly, I haven't rewatched that since I saw it the first time, which was whenever it came out. Maybe it's awesome now. I don't know. So another one of my my favorite episodes was how we decided to actively not talk about the Flash. Because I fucking hate it. I've watched it like recently. It was just after we did the Morbius episode. I think it was the day we recorded the Morbius episode, actually. I'm going to go back and revisit. And yeah, it's still shit. Sorry. Yeah. Even in 4K, it can't be held up. But yeah, we decided to, you know, buck the trend and did an episode on the fantastic Flashpoint Paradox animated movie. Which again is like, it would catch the right algorithms on, wherever the fuck we are, if we talked about something that was current. But I just want to talk about what we want to talk about,
Yeah, we definitely went that route, but this season for sure.
It was also like, it kind of happened, things happened organically. We're just like, oh, let's talk about this week. We didn't really forecast much. Of course, we had to follow up our fantastic Legacy of Spider-Man series of episodes from season 1 with Legacy of the Spider-Man Part 5, talking about the new Inside the Spider-Verse, Up Your Bum Spider... What is it?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, which is a baller-ass movie. I went and saw it with my good mate Brad, who's another person who'd be very good on this podcast, honestly. He was on the episode of the Stitch Up, the original Stitch Up from years and years ago, talking about Suicide Squad. And he's a very intelligent film dude. So if you're listening, Brad, that's a good test, actually. Brad, if you're listening to this, you can come on the show. But if you're not, then I'll know, because you won't call me and say, I listened to this and you said can come on the show. Because people are like, yeah, I listened to your show, and then they don't.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Can I be a little nerdy for a second?
Please.
I remember that episode that you're talking about. I remember watching it.
Yeah, you watched them all, man. Like that was how you fell in love.
It was.
That was honestly that was back in the drinking days. I did not look well. Like, if you look at the original episodes of the Stitch Up, towards the end of 2016, because I was sober in the beginning of 2016, and then I fell off the wagon again. And if you watch those episodes from end of 2016, end of 2017, I started 2017, I am puffy and red, and it's not okay. It was a bad look for Reegs, I'll tell you that much. I don't know why I keep referring to myself in the third person or the first person. I should do that more often. One of my favorite episodes that we did was La La Land.
Hell yeah.
Because, as I said in the episode, I had avoided watching it for years because my fiance and my future sister-in-law had watched it at the cinema and didn't like it. I now understand they have an Emma Stone prejudice. Her name's Emily, by the way. Do you know that?
Is it Emily or Elizabeth?
No, it's Emily, because there was someone who was already in SAG-AFTRA that was like registered as Emma Stone, so Emily Stone, so she had to change it. Now she's like, no, that's my actual name. Anyway, they watched it, and I avoided it for ages, and then I watched it, and you were like, well, let's do an episode on it because it's amazing, and it is. It's an amazing picture.
Oh yeah, like I love the La La Land episode we did because then I got back into musicals again.
Yeah. What other ones did you watch?
Well, I watched the biggest musical of all time, which is Babylon.
Disagree, but sure. I would go so far as to say that's not a musical. The biggest musical of all time is probably Sound of Music. The Hills Are Alive, man. The Sound of Music. Moulin Rouge. Bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I watched... after that, I watched The Greatest Showman.
There's like a cultural understanding that you're supposed to hate that movie, and I fucking have no idea why. Everybody in the musical theatre community seems to enjoy it, so I just default to them.
Yeah, the thing with is that people want to seem that they're accurate, but the thing with hating The Greatest Showman is that the people who hate it want to think that they're being accurate by hating it. But see, The Greatest Showman is a fantasy tale, and it is exactly the tale that P.T. Barnum would tell about himself. About himself,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the real P.T. Barnum,
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he was a profiteer. Like that's sort of how he used those people 100%. But Hugh Jackman can sing his tits off, so and so can Zendaya and Zac Efron. I like to put both of his names together, Zac Efron, which sounds like something you say when you sneeze, and you're Dutch. I don't know, Zac Efron. Yeah, but La La Land. Sorry. And it made me go back and reinvestigate Chazelle's other work as well. I love Whiplash, but but I remember thinking First Man was a little dull, and then on rewatch, I'm like, no, this movie is fucking great. There's so many close-ups in that movie. It's all here, like it's so tight. You're almost in the helmet, you know. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's a character piece about a person who was so public that people did not want to see the character piece. They wanted to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. But yeah, it was just a good episode, and another one of those ones that was just like, let's just do this, you know, like, okay, cool, and then we'll do that week. You know, we didn't really think about it. That's another thing as well, like talking about people hating the Greatest Showman. I've probably said this before. I don't understand. Like, I hate Nazis, you know, and standing on Lego, and when the peanut butter runs out, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, I'm not saying those two things are the same. I mean, it's like Letterboxd. You can't really gauge those things together. But just to get up in the morning, every morning, get up and hate things, like hate in your heart for something simple like a movie or a football team or a, you know, another person even. It's just, it must be fucking exhausting to do that, to get up with that kind of fear about the world around you. You know, choose love, everyone. You got to choose love.
That's why we need Superman. That's why we fucking need Superman.
Hey man, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, he is the epitome of just that. Now comes what I consider to be seriously, I consider to be one of the highlights of our podcasting career. Doing 4 episodes on Mike Flanagan's work, just because you dig him the most and you want to talk about Hill House. But then spending the month of October and into November, December doing these, and January actually, fuck me, doing these episodes on Mike's work, it made me go back and rewatch the director's cut of Dr. Sleep, which is fucking great. It's 3 hours long, and I love that movie. And going to see it at the Astor as well as a double bill with The Shining. It was like 6 hours of just, you know, fantastic cinema. And also, this introduced me to Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Which is just one of the best TV shows you'll ever see. And again, it goes back to that thing about you can do all the flashy shit in the world that you want. You can have fucking smoke grenade fights and do a dance or whatever the fuck Sam Rockwell and the young lady from the Jurassic Park picture was doing in that film. Gwen Stacy. If you don't have character, you have nothing. And that show was so built around character. I loved it so much.
The Flanagan Fright Fest, which I love the name. Thank you for that.
Alliteration's the best, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that sounded like a tag. He did it. I was mid-burp. That's why I said yeah, like that.
What's going on? Stop drinking Fanta or whatever the hell it is you got to go. You got a juicy drink.
I am dehydrated and I don't like water.
Fuck me. You're in trouble. Sorry, what were you going to say? The Flanagan.
Yeah, the Flanagan Fright Fest is like the weirdest turning point of our show. Because we dedicated so much to it, and then we both loved like every single thing that Flanagan did.
It's hard not to. I mean, I didn't watch Blythe Manor yet. Thought we could come back around and like circle back and do one for October this year and do Blythe. And I haven't finished the more recent one. What's the more recent one called?
House of Usher?
Yes, I haven't finished that yet. I don't know why. I kind of fell off. It's pretty good. And someone told me the end.
They probably didn't understand it. That's why they said it.
It was on the internet.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was good. It also like introduced me to Midnight Mass, which that's a high watermark for me in terms of television. Like that's probably in the top. If it was a longer series, I don't know, but as miniseries go, it's like it's up there with fucking Hawkeye and shit of like shows that had a definitive end, and we only went for one season. Like what was the other one? Moon Knight.
Okay.
Moon Knight. Yeah. And Devs as well. It's Alex Garland's TV show is really great, a miniseries. So yeah, I would say Mass Genocide. Ellie said then that's fucked up.
Ooh.
Midnight Mass. And it also it opened me up to a lot of theological conversations with people who I know are Christian or Catholic, which has been really interesting to me.
Yeah, that show spurs up a lot of interesting conversations, and the way that someone would talk about that show can tell you exactly where they are.
on the register of people being,
vampires and
how
bigots.
religious they are. Yeah, vampires and bigots. That's basically the tagline of the show. So yeah, that was a really great series of episodes. Doing a best of is something I'd like to continue doing. I think that's a really great way to talk about a bunch of stuff. And it was such an incredible year for movies, especially with the success of Oppenheimer. We've seen from the Oscars that just, swept the thing. It was best picture, best film, best actor, best supporting actor. Nolan's speech was so heartfelt. He was like, there's 100 years of movies here, and the fact that you think I'm an important part of it means the world to me. And you can hear his voice break. Like, Oppenheimer's a great picture. Like, it's going to stand the test of time in terms of cinema, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter. Like, there's a lot of people who don't like Lawrence of Arabia either, or Citizen Kane, and they are fucking benchmarks for how you do this, how you make this your art form. And we got to talk about things that maybe we wouldn't have normally done episodes on, like EO and about the donkey, and The Killer, which was like one of my favorite films.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
That's okay. It's not a requirement. Then again, I watch all the things that you want me to watch, mostly, except for X-Men '97, apparently.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
And also Heartstopper.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting about it. Like, it's literally on the list. I have a list.
And Castlevania.
I watched the first season of Castlevania and I didn't really like it. So, I mean, I liked it, but not enough to... We're allowed to like different things, I mean, you don't like peanut butter. I fucking love peanut butter.
I also don't like Citizen Kane, which is like it's the worst film ever made, so yeah.
Because, why? Why is it the worst film ever made?
It's just... It like, if you love filmmaking, Citizen Kane is the opposite of everything that filmmaking stands for.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it broke there is no way we have the landscape of cinema now without that film. If you don't like the story and stuff, I totally get that. Like, I think it's a really interesting story, and it's also a great companion piece to Mank. Like, if you watch David Fincher's Mank, it's the story of the screenwriter, and yes, whether you like the story or not, like he started doing things with the camera that people weren't doing.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Oh, well, shut your fucking mouth then. There's a really great part in that where they go on a picnic somewhere and they used like rear screen projection. Like, so they had a plate to have like a big sort of, a vista behind them while they're sitting there in the wide shot having their picnic. But it's footage from another movie that was set in the past, and there's pterodactyls you can see flying for a second. Pretty outrageous. Citizen Kane, everyone. Watch it out. I watched it at Christmas time. I don't know why. Speaking of Christmas time, actually, episode 40, The Klaus Act. Another one where we're just like, we should talk about this. I know it's after Christmas, but whatever.
Christmas last year for me wasn't like happy and shit. Like, whenever Christmas happens, I always get into the movie watching like either like horrifying or horrible horror movies. So my Christmas was filled with The Witch, Midnight Mass, and Hill House.
That's a dark turn there, my friend. But hey, whatever, you can have Halloween at Christmas if that's what you want to do.
And like, Klaus is the only Christmas movie I will ever go back to because it is the spirit of what happy, wholesome movies should be.
It's Christmassy, but it's not super Christmassy because it's about it's like it's it's the Christmas origin story. It's None Begins. It's one of my favorite gags. We'll come back to that. Yeah, and it's a sort of progenitor of the Christmas story, which I really dig, and it's just so beautifully animated. Reminds me of Atlantis, actually, which is what I watched last night. Episode 41 was Morbid Enough, about Morbius, which I still say is better than a lot of people think it is, and is better than a lot of the shit that's out there. It's better than Argyle, that's for damn Skippy. That was fun too, because it goes against the grain. Tommy was absolutely bewildered as to why we were doing that episode. It's like, what the fuck? And I mentioned it on his show, and he was like, "You're trying to make it a thing, and it's not." I'm like, dude, it's a thing. Trust me. I would self-finance a sequel if I could. We talked about it. Traveling vampire. just walking around the country having adventures.
This is why, and you'd like that idea. So this is why I told you to continue fucking Castlevania, man.
All right. I don't know. It didn't stick. It didn't stick. And I think Warren Ellis's writing is.
It gets better. It's because he gets partners in writing, like season 2 and so on.
The only thing I really liked that he's done was Authority. That's just
never heard of that.
Never heard of The Authority. You're about to. That's one of James Gunn's pictures.
Oh, The Authority as in the okay.
Did you see the picture of the fucking the cast of that like the person who's playing the engineer, the female character who's playing the engineer, who's a character from The Authority, and the guy who's playing Mr. Miracle or Mr. Majestic, or I can't remember the name of the character, but it was just showing them in their workout schedule, and they are fucking yoked. I'm like, you can't. Why do we need? You're all wearing costumes anyway. Like, why does everybody need to be like that? I just want to have some goddamn chips.
Yeah.
I can't have chips. When there's people going out there where they've got abs where their pelvic region is. Like, hey, I didn't even know there was abs there. Ridiculous.
Sure.
Sorry. Anyway, Morbius. It was a good episode. You should go back and check it out. And check out the movie too, just like we said. 42 and 43 were our dueling episodes on the Daredevils. Season 1 and Season 2. I'm just so glad we got to talk to it. And more than anything, I'm so glad you watched the motherfucker.
Sure, yeah. I am so happy that we did that, because I don't think if it was for this podcast, I would have watched that show ever.
It's alright. I wouldn't have watched fucking Hill House or Midnight Mass probably either. Or La La Land.
Or Normal People.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, that's the whole thing, is like discovery and hey, I think this thing's really cool. You'll think it's really cool too. You should watch it. Like, that's what this is about. That's where the juice is for me anyway. Just a little side note. One of the other things I did was I went to the Astor again. I've been there 17 times this year already, I think. And I've been to the movies 40 times. I had to make it up because I was sick at the start of the year. Anyway, regardless of that, I went and saw all the Back to the Future movies back to back.
That's pretty cool.
Which was it was an amazing day. And then in the evening times, they had an anniversary screening of Pulp Fiction. And I was like, yes, please. I'm just going to sit in my seat and hope no one asks me for a ticket. No, that's a lie. I bought a ticket. I wouldn't do that to the Astor. I wouldn't do that, Astor friends. And it was amazing. It was such a beautiful day, and I loved it. That's my place of peace. I was there the other night, actually. I'm there so often. There's a vegan restaurant around the corner called Tyranny of Distance, and it's a bar, like a very trendy bar filled with young, beautiful people who have cool tattoos and smoke and vape and you know, say, and a lot of them are British, and they all say, yeah, cool. Like, they're all high as shit while they're serving it. But they do some of the best. I make the argument it's the best vegan food in Melbourne, honestly. And I always get the same thing because I've tried all the menu, and these are my favorites. And they know now. They just know when I turn up, they put my order in. I don't even have to order it. That's how often I go to the Astor, people. I'm starting. But again, having said that, that's what my local bottle shop owner used to do for me as well. So I've turned it around. There was literally a type of beer that only I bought that he would only get in because he knew I would buy it all the time. I would rather them know what kind of vegan curry I want than what kind of booze. And then finally, episode 44, because this is 45, we had an amazing episode. Tommy made his debut on the pod, talked about Dune 2, and fuck me, it was a good time.
Oh, it was such a good time.
We were just laughing, like, so much. That episode would have been about 2 hours long, and I think it's, at the moment, it's 1:45. 15 minutes is us just laughing. I had to cut so much of it, especially when you were trying to explain how the I don't say ghost flaps then, how the sandworm flaps work, and you were like, and you lift up the flaps, and then he said revealing the erect nipples or the hard nipples, and then that was it. We were off to the races. Calling my dad a vampire. Go back and listen to the Dune 2 episode, everyone. It is a cack.
I listened to the Dune 2 episode just so I can hear myself try to explain and then completely butcher my explanation.
No, you were trying really hard, but we wouldn't shut the fuck up and let you finish was the problem.
No, but at the end, I couldn't explain what the fuck I was talking about.
That's okay. I didn't know either. So yeah, it was so much fun having Tommy on. Please come back again, my friend. It's we're starting to, you know, we're kind of like when X-Men and X-Force get together, and it's pretty cool, and everybody goes to the beach. Yeah, there's issues. I usually do it in an annual, like, sorry, that was almost not English. They usually do it in annual or something. They'd be like, X-Men Annual 97. And all the motherfuckers, they just go to the beach and there's Wolverine and he's got like 3 hot dogs on his claws and Jean's telekinetically making a sandcastle and fucking Beast's getting a hand job in the sand dunes from somebody. It's hopefully not Jubilee. From you. I think Beast is gay, isn't he, in the books?
Works for me.
That's cool too. That's cool too. Yeah, I feel like he was a homosexual in the books. He was dating a woman and she was kind of a beard. Anyway, doesn't matter. Check it out. Also, you should never make Beast a villain. Grant Morrison did a run, and at the end of his X-Men run that he was kind of perturbed about having to finish because he was having arguments with the management. He made Beast a villain for a little while, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. The thing with Beast is that what Charles Xavier tries to teach, that's Beast's whole personality. And like there are points where Beast can get angry for sure.
Yeah, there's some great feral moments for him.
But do you think that the Beast who has spent a year in prison trying to prove a point that hating each other is not the way to go would turn on the humans? I think not.
Yeah. No, it's he's too pure. He's Wolverine with a conscience. And more interesting as well because he's my favorite X-Men, honestly. Like Beast, I think he's just to overcome that, to be that the monster within. Like I love werewolf stories and anything that feeds into the destructive part of masculinity, which is what that could be a metaphor, absolutely, and for puberty as well and all that. But I think he is the cause. Like he is the cause. It's like we need to be okay with who we are because he can't hide his shit. It's like in the movie where he's like, some of us can't, turn it off. Like some of us can't look normal. Like that's not. It will be unfair to judge people who want to be human. Who want to take the cure. I just love him so much, and I can't not hear the guy from the cartoon.
Definitely.
When I read stories.
I think the guy in X-Men 97 does a really good job. I think
it's the same dude.
Is it?
It's the same actor. Yeah, because they've been promoting. I think Chaz might have sent. I'll big up Chaz as well.
Hell yeah!
I know he's not. I know he's not a podcast or anything, but he's our number one fan. There's no mistaking it, and God love him. Thank you, Chaz, for your ongoing support. It's fantastic, and I love chatting with you, mate. Like the. I lost my train of thought now. Bigging up, sucking Chaz's dick for a second.
He'd probably love that.
He would. I'm sure he'd be very happy. There you go, mate. I look forward to your sexy message after I've said that.
So the voice actor for Beast is the same guy who was in the original series?
Yeah. I think Chaz sent me a reel of the guy like promoting it at a con, and he was talking directly to the camera. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Beast," and did the voice. Very cool.
Yeah, the most insane thing about X-Men 97 is the guy who plays Gambit. He was a fan of the show when they were growing up, and Gambit was his favorite. And when they hired there was a certain character list that new actors would come in to voice them. And the guy
who played Cyclops is dead.
And the guy who voices Gambit in 97 refused to audition for any other role except Gambit.
Good. Does he do the proper Cajun, like, oh, share, we will do the thing and oh no, I sound like Bon Voyage again.
No, he is perfect. I sent him a message and he hasn't replied because he's busy.
He's busy, like going around and just chatting on ladies and being hello. That's not it. I can't do him. It's very specific.
That's like.
That's French. I should be doing Cajun.
That's French, but from the Interpol agent that's in Carmen Sandiego, which is so specific.
I'll fucking take it. I love that shit. Carmen Sandiego. Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego is the shit. That's such a good cartoon.
I'm talking about the new one.
Yeah, no, that's the cartoon is fucking great. I love it.
Oh yeah, Fuck yeah, man. We should do fucking Carmen Sandiego.
Let's do Carmen Sandiego. I'll put it on the list along with X-Men. And we also got to do a Deadpool season. Daredevil season 3. That was something that came out. News. The Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, the second trailer came out. And there's Hugh in all his glory, looking fucking svelte. That's going to be an interesting picture. Well, should we go and talk about our favourite gags, perhaps?
Is it for the butthole or for the mouth hole? Which one?
The gag. I'm sorry. What's a butt gag? You mean a butt plug? Is that...
Maybe.
Oh no. Yeah, can I get that butt gag? You mean the butt plug, sir? No, the gag with the ball on it. That's for your mouth. Oh, can I use it on my butt? You can do whatever you want, sir. It's a free country. It's 2024. Enjoy yourself. And while I'm there, can I have that huge red dildo? That's a fire hydrant, sir. Anyway, butt gag. Favorite gags. Oh no. Favorite gags that have happened, and I'm going to cut these in because they all became reels anyway. Nun Begins.
I watched The Nun too. I really did like it. It's one of the better like Conjuring universe films.
It's part of that, is it?
Yeah, because The Nun like first appears in the second Conjuring film, and then from that they had a spin-off.
Was that spin-off like a prequel?
Yeah.
Why didn't they call it Nun Begins? That's funny to me. That sounds funny to me. Nun Begins. The Dark Nun. The Dark Nun rises. How has no one made that joke yet? That's it. Watermark it. Watermark that joke. Just the ludus. And like I said, all of these were completely off the cuff. You as a Pirate, which was the same episode.
Or hell, if you really want to watch the director's cut and you don't have a way to watch it, get in touch with me and I'll send it to you.
There you go. That's a big ask. But then again, you're probably sharing a file, aren't you? You cheeky R. I be Addy. I've got all sorts of movies for you.
This is the pirate returning?
I've got aye. No, he's a different one. This is you as a pirate. Hello, I be Addy. I like the pirate movies. I get them off Pirate Bay, which is where I park me boat. You don't see park when it's a boat. You see dock. Where do I make berth? I make berth in a place where I also pirate DVDs. You wouldn't steal a car. Sorry. Okay. He took over for a second. I was possessed. And any excuse to bring the pirate back. A banana nude? You know what you can do? You can have a banana nude. You can have a fucking banana nude, mate. That's something I invented yesterday. I was saying off mic to Addy. A banana nude is when you get fully undressed just to eat a banana. It's a real niche kink thing, and I'm getting into it. Just feels sexy.
Do you like cut it up, or do you just like...
You can do whatever you want, however you want to eat it. It's got to go in your mouth, obviously. I mean, you can pop it in your bum if you want, but chew it.
Yeah,
that'd be weird. But you have to consume it with your mouth, and you can have it in whatever as a split. You can have it in portions with some bran, whatever you have. But you have to take all of your clothes off and look in the mirror while you do it. I just made that last little bit up. A banana nude. Enjoy yourselves, folks.
Yes, I'm so glad I made it into the middle of the show.
In a world where, everything's going wrong and people are at war with one another and factions upon factions, it's nice to know that you can take all your clothes off and have a banana. Me being in the background of Foe, the performances were just spectacular. Saoirse Ronan is one of the most interesting actresses working today. She's just absolutely, I couldn't take my eyes off her. Just wonderful. I highly recommend that. Shot in Australia. And you can tell because it's when they're in the outback, it's motherfucking in the outback. I'll tell you that much. It's not kangaroos and shit jumping around, but... or just me in the background. Hello! And then off. Is Regan in Foe? Yeah, for like 30 seconds. He hops past on a kangaroo. Silly. The idea of me... Remember that? It's just me, like, as a kangaroo. Absolute lunacy. Thirsty Games, the recent one, was on the Let's Be Frank episode.
What film franchise needs way more sex?
What film franchise needs way more sex?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Or Hunger Games. Like, why aren't more people in Hunger Games going, this is the end times, let's just take our pants off and just 69 until we get shot in the back of the head by another teenager? You know how they drop, like, when they go 3, 2, 1 and go, and some people run and go and try and get supplies, and some people run off? If you run and go and get supplies, there's no knives or bombs or mace or anything like that that's of use to you in the realm of combat. No, there's fucking lube and not that you really need to worry about connies if you're all going to get killed anyway, but you know what I mean. Just an absolute cornucopia of sexual tryst. You call it the Thirsty Games. Welcome to the Thirsty Games. All of you need to lube up to the max. And absolutely every single joke in Oops, I Doing It Again, because that episode was peak in terms of comedy. Classics. Did you have any specific favorite gags you can remember, or?
For me, it's just the one that goes around the mouth. That's the one.
That's your fave. Well, fucking treat yourself, mate. Whatever you enjoy. So everybody, that's kind of the year that was, and to you. Oh, sorry. What did you want to say?
I can't remember. Was Xavier's chair is a dildo this season or last season?
That was last season. That was Doctor Strange episode. But go back and enjoy that too, everybody. Of Doctor Strange. Sorry. Professor X's dildo chair was epic. Yoda came into it and he started talking normally because he was so struck by he was just shook that Charles Xavier was dildoing himself every single second that you're talking to him. There's one up it. You know, yeah, that's back in Doctor Strange. Part deux. That is the season that was, friends. And to you, our audience, I want to say thank you for sticking with us. We really do appreciate it. And you know, we like hanging out and talking to each other, but we're here for you. Like, if you get a little bit of respite from, you know, sometimes a sad and crazy world and you're feeling a little lonely or you're feeling a little bit down, or maybe you're not, maybe you feel fucking fantastic and you just want to laugh along with us. Whatever the situation is, if you're here and you enjoy it, it's beautiful. And we're so happy that you continue to support us. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to be here as long as humanly possible, and keep bringing you some fun stuff. The one thing I will ask of you is join in. You know, if you want to hear us do an episode on something, reach out, let us know. You know, be a Chaz. Everybody needs to be a Chaz these days. Just talk to us. You know, hit us up with anything that you want to say, and we'll be here and we're listening. We're ready to be those kind of podcasters who will end up annoying you in the long term, because I'm sure that you've got 1,000 wonderful ideas. Or if you have a podcast that you really like listening to, or if you're on a podcast, you know, that you would like us to listen to, please hit us up. You can message both of us. I'm the Stitch Up with Reegs, and Addy is Film Addict Reviews on the Instafuck. Come join in. We really do love it. Now, before we finish up for the day, Addy's got a little segment in honor of the X-Men 97 cartoon doing so fantastically fucking well. And it's where we're going to make a team of X-Men, and we're going to pick individual X-Men, and then we're going to make a team, but we can't use each other's. So the first team is ones it's fine, we can both share. The second one, if Addy's got Colossus, I can't have Colossus. And it's kind of like that. So like if you're playing a video game, you're adding Colossus to your list. Right, so how do we do this? Do you want to go one for one, or do I do my team and then you do your team?
So let's do our like share team first.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you go first. All of them.
So this is the one that I can have anybody, and it doesn't matter if you have them, or
yeah.
Right, okay. Gambit, just because I love his power set, and it's good to have someone who's a bit lanky with a bit of reach and, you know, uses a staff. Comedy. Marrow, I don't know if you know Marrow. She was a character that was created in the 90s, and she's a Morlock. She's one of the underground X-Men's, and she's got like her bones protrude out of her body, and she can pull them out and use as weapons. And I'm like, and she's kind of feral, and you could also play it like if you wanted to be sort of a little bit more woke or whatever the fuck. But if you want to be a bit more current, it'd be great to have that character be trans or at least non-binary or something like that, because it sort of leans into that a little bit, or a gay character, whatever. But she's just got that kind of feral nature that Wolverine would have, sort of replacing him because he's in everything. Iceman, like for a bit of young energy as well, and Bobby Drake is gay, so that's an interesting thing to have in it, but like not put hang a hat on it. And as a contrast to that, you also have another young person there in Sunspot, sort of like the dueling powers as well, and also a little bit of representation. Like I'm trying to think about it not in terms of, like I said, that fucking woke word that everybody overuses or misuses all the time now, but more like thinking about the context of where we are in time, and also what the X-Men stand for, which is all of these things, which is, is acceptance and diversity and all that stuff. So yeah, Sunspot would be great. And team leader's Beast. And he leads with kindness and with gentleness, an open heart, but he's also like really protective of all of these people. So that's my team.
I love it. I have an X-Men thing written, like not the team, but I have an X-Men thing written that I wrote a year ago. And Beast the leader. Awesome.
Well, me and Addie have been talking about writing some comics together and pitching them to Marvel. So we're going to work on some X-Men stuff to start with. So maybe the team that we build here today will be the one that we use.
This is my MCU shit. Nightcrawler.
Nice.
Rogue.
German. Rogue. Yep.
Rogue.
You love Rogue.
I love Nightcrawler and Rogue. Like Rogue is my favorite X-Men, but if you've ever had a conversation with me, like heart to heart, and know who Nightcrawler is literally me. I feel like, no, I don't know.
He is blue. Everybody doesn't know that about Addy, but he is a blue person. It's weird.
Like, the Blood Axe is blue. I've shown you the picture, so.
Your Blood Axe, not the one from that. Not very good.
Yeah, not the one that fucking died in a shipwreck.
A stupid way as well, like sacrifice himself for nothing. Anyway, sorry. So Rogue, Nightcrawler,
Magic.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, right. From the New Mutants.
Yeah. Colossus.
Colossi. Yep. Aren't they brother and sister?
They are.
Yeah, right on.
And so are Nightcrawler and Rogue.
Yeah, that's right. Mystique was out there doing some fucking.
Yeah, this is weird because the Nightcrawler shit got retcon, and Mystique is Rogue's mother, and Mystique is Nightcrawler's father. So do with that what you will.
Hey, see, we're talking about gender politics before, and like sexual diversity. The X-Men fucking rule, everybody. You got to just pick up some comics, pick up some goddamn Chris Claremont, or some Scott Lobdell, or the guys who created the Man of Action team of writers who work on all those animated shows, like all those cats who were working on the X-Men comics in the 90s, like all those dudes, Steve Seagal. And it's just some really great stuff. I don't really know what's going on now, but the old stuff rules.
All right, so I have Magic, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Rogue. All right?
Yep.
Here comes the controversial one.
Okay.
Emma Frost.
That's fine. I nearly added her to mine, actually. Not because of controversy. I just thought I would add... actually, I do need a bit more diversity there because I've only got one female. And Mara might not be a female. Anyway. Okay, why is that controversial?
Well, because she is famously with Shaw.
Yeah, but I mean, she's been in the books plenty, and I think she's found her redemption, depending on what time period you're in.
Yeah. Angel?
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 now.
Current Angel or Archangel?
No,
Has
Angel.
he got metal wings or normal wings? Okay.
No, Angel. Eventually metal wings, but there's a reason for that. It's much more complex than what the fuck they did with the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. That's a good team.
And
should write these down.
I'm gonna say this because this is literally like the first description of what I wrote, and I'll send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But Nightcrawler and Angel are dating.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nightcrawler and Angel are Jean and Scott for this team.
Cool.
And the lead, like, so this is like the roster, but the leader, like Professor X, who's not going into battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The leader for this team is Logan.
No, that's good. I like that because it gives him some agency outside of just being a fucking bruiser. Dig it. I dig it. Who are yours, my friends, out there in podcasting land, all you film addicts out there? Who are your X-Men team? Who would you like to see together? We're talking about also, sorry, we forgot to preface it. These are the X-Men we would like to see be introduced in the MCU. We didn't preface the actual why we were doing this. But yeah, so whenever they introduce mutants properly, these are the team we'd like. Now, how are we going to do the next one?
So you go first and I'll go first.
Okay, let's do 5.
You go first and I'll go second.
I won't be a prick and say Beast. I'll go somewhere else. I'm going to have Colossus.
I'm going to start with Nightcrawler.
Okay, Colossus. Who else am I have? I'm just looking at my comics over here. I'm going to chuck Jean in there.
Angel.
Damn, that was going to be my next one.
I pitched the fucking relationship. I'm going to take both of them.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Oh, I'll do a controversial one. Namor.
Yeah, that works.
Or Namor. He's the first mutant. That's the idea. That'd be cool. And he gets busy with Jean because Scott's off being a villain somewhere.
See, I know if I say it, I'll have it, but then I don't want to be a fucking prick.
No, you go. Just don't even worry about it. You just do you.
Rogue.
Rogue's great. Some big energy. There's so many good people to have, you know. I am, however, going to have Magneto.
Nice.
This is the weirdest fucking team of all time. Colossus, Jean, Namor, Magneto, and someone else.
Fuck it. Morph.
Yeah, that's such an interesting character. Especially now. And finally, for me, I'm going to count it as 1, but there's actually like 4 or 5 of them. In Grant Morrison's run of the X-Men, Emma Frost had some pupils who were like 3 or 4.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's like a hive mind thing. Oh, I can't remember the name of the characters. They all had individual names, but that character where it was like a bunch of them. That's a weird team. I love it. Namor's already in the MCU, even if he is doing inappropriate things.
Namor and Magneto, like that's some chewing scenery.
But think of the power play that would go on. Like, who is leading this team? You know, like and Jean would be there going, "Would you two fucking apes shut up and listen to me?" Like, it would make you think. And Colossus is just standing there being Russian,
famously,
and he gets real big brotherly about the telepathic.
Triplets?
The telepathic girls. It might be triplets. It might be 3 of them. I can't remember. I read that run last year and I've forgotten it, the specifics. But yeah, they're good teams, man. Make sure you write these down for our comic.
Wait, hold on. I have one more, right? I get one more?
Yeah, you do.
So I'm gonna go with comic relief because I have heavy hitters. I'm gonna go with Forget Me Not.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
So that's a character whose power set is that you forget that they're there.
It's pretty good, actually. It's kind of like being invisible. I like it. I'm going to have to look them up, I reckon. Awesome. Yeah. All right, well, that's our team. Everybody else, who would you like to see when the X-Men are finally introduced into the MCU? What characters would you most like to see? And who would you like to play them? Maybe we'll do that next week. We've got our teams. Maybe next week we'll cast them.
We have questions. Question number 1 from Chaz. What emoji would you like to see exist? Why? And how would you use it?
There isn't one for sly. Like you say something, make a dirty joke or whatever, and there's like a sly comment kind of thing. I don't feel like there's one for that. There's one that's got like a side smirk, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It needs to be like a fox winking or something.
Yeah, the winking is more on the sexual side. Even the fucking smirk
Yeah, I just feel like there needs to be one. I don't know how you do it. There's a really great GIF where it's as an African American actor, or he's a black actor, and he's in a car and he's sort of not looking at the camera, and then all of a sudden he just starts looking at the camera and smiling, and it's my favorite fucking GIF of all time. And I use it all the time. So something that would replicate that.
Cool.
What about you? Just a fucking emoji with a ball gag in? Can I get the BDSM emoji, please? BDS emoji.
That'd be cool.
BDSE. Oh, fuck. Okay. Now, what would you like?
It's certain we got all our queer flags, so please, all of them.
Yeah, right. Like an actual the gamut of the rainbow. That would be very good. What was Chaz's next question?
What current streaming series or movie would be badass for Johnny to compose?
Right. Knowing his sensibility, Shogun.
Ha.
I think he would like, he loves that show. I think he would dig it the most. Just like, yeah, like dropping a proper, like it's all very traditionally scored. It's very classical, you know, in its score. For him to come in with some fucking fat guitar work and some fucking solos and shit, I reckon he would kill it. He doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be scoring a short film that I'm working on at the moment. Johnny, I'm going to give you a call. It's a horror movie.
Also, shout out to Johnny. Thank you so much for being a part of this since day one and giving us so many amazing tunes.
He's the best. He's just the best. Such a gentleman. He's such a talented musician, but just such a beautiful human being. Like, just, I love that guy so much. He's a legend. Thank you, Johnny. You're the best, mate.
I would say like any upcoming season of Castlevania Nocturne, because he would kill in that.
Yeah, he would dig it too. Like he loves that show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about it. So yeah, right on. Question the third.
What would be your entrance theme song for walking into the market or grocery store?
Yeah, you go.
It's from the White Album for the Beatles, called Help. The song's name is Act Naturally. Oh no, it's not from the White Album. It's just from Help.
It's Snoop Dogg from Doggy Style, and the song. So the song is called G's and Hustlers, and this is how it starts.
What you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a motherfucking hustler. You better ask somebody.
It's pretty cool.
It's a fat track, and it's really good to walk into. I actually wrote it into a screenplay, and the character was walking out of rehab after not getting clean and like smoking cigarettes and shit. But anyway, that would be my one. G's and Hustlers by Snoop Dogg.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And the final question is?
The final question is by our friend and my best friend, Leanne.
Beautiful human. Beautiful human.
What was the spark of the inspiration that made you want to start the podcast?
It was Addie's idea, actually. We'd done the Hawkeye. We might have said this before, actually. We did the Hawkeye reviews together, and Addie said, I really want to start a podcast. And I had the Stitch Up at the time, which was a video show. And this has kind of taken over from that, honestly, like just in terms of where I put my interest. But yeah, you were just like, I just want to do it. And we fucking did. And here we are. Fucking year 3, season 3. And, we were talking, first episode was, we were talking about how great the MCU is. And it is, but we're different now, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm different from
Morbius is better than Ant-Man and the Wasp Part 2, or whatever the fuck it was called, in Quantumania. Like, absolutely. And Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, definitely. Morbius is better than both the Ant-Man sequels and the unnecessary Thor Ragnarok sequel.
Yes. Maybe that's the thing. Like Tommy and DL have on their podcast, like, is this movie better than the most average movie of all time, Aquaman 2018? Maybe we should be like, what movie isn't as good as Morbius? We don't talk about movies we don't like, so it's kind of hard. But if something comes up like The Flash again, then I think that's absolutely the move. But anyway, that's the end, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Again, welcome to season 3. We're so happy to have you. Addie, we did it again.
We did.
We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep doing it because it's all love and it's all fun. And we have such a great time. Do tune in next week for our bonus episode, which will be a commentary on the fantastic picture Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg, which is my favorite movie of all time. And we couldn't do an episode on it. It had to be a commentary. It had to be. So I hope you enjoy that. But in the meantime, I love you, mate.
Love you too, man.
So wonderful to be here. So let's shake off and go and record this commentary for the people. Thank you so much for being here. And remember,
stay amazing, stay safe. To me, my addicts.
That's terrible. A bunch of these fucking horrible, labored, breathing, skinny alcoholics coming towards you going, and me leading them. Like force feeding Toblerone into my mouth like a mad person. That's my addict. Good night, everybody.